Hello everyone and welcome to the third round of the UnitedRacersLeague.com Flat6 series. We are at NOLA Motorsport Park for the first endurance race of this championship. This will be 90 minutes instead of 45, so double the fun and also a bit more strategy coming into play with possible pit stops for fuel or tires. But first let's head into qualifying. Robert Horvat was the third different pole sitter in 3 races, and with a 135.2 he put his car on pole in front of championship leader Lorenzo Tortella, 2 tenths down, and Joona Karima was in third, also 2 tenths down on Robert Horvat. So it was set to be a challenging race with some good thinking going on about the strategy, so let's dive into the highlights and see what happened. So here we are on the grid at NOLA Motorsport Park early in the morning. Robert Horvat on the right, Lorenzo Tortella on the left. And we are racing here for the endurance series. And it's Florian Kutz and Joona Karima putting themselves in the middle and having a good start. I think they will grab P1 and 2. Yes, they will. Lorenzo Tortella down to 4th. And Robert Horvat, pole sitter, down to 3rd position for the moment. And now that's Manuel Ligori getting spun around. But no big harm done there. Robert Horvat having a look at the inside of Florian Kutz, making the move stick. Can Florian fight back and be the cork on the bottle for the rest of the field so his teammate can grab those valuable points with a win? Of course, it's a very long race, but oh, Robert has a bit of a slide. Can Florian get up the inside? Yes, he can. Now he just has to keep it tidy here through this fast right-hander section. 3 right-handers, with this one here being the slowest with a hard curb there on the inside, as you saw. And here's the rest of the field streaming past. Good start for the Raging Racing guys. And our championship leader is in 4th. Can Robert Horvat challenge him? It's a good run through the S's. Looks like Lorenzo goes defensive on the inside. Oh, but he breaks a bit early. Peter Backus goes around the outside, and now he's in the best position on track here to keep the position. Yes, indeed. So 4th place for Robert Horvat. And at the end of lap 1, it's Joona Karima in 1st position. Then his teammate Florian Kutz in 2nd. Then Robert Horvat, Peter Backus, and Lorenzo Tortella. That's the top 5. With Miguel Santiago Carao, Ivan Gridello, Frank Cosi, Simon Finningham, and Greg Metcalf completing the top 10. And then it's Martin Brandon, Manuel Ligori, David Nesbitt, and Sandro Donadel in last position at the moment. So in the opening laps, it was the top 5 making a bit of a gap here to Miguel Santiago Carao, who was holding up the guys behind. And first one up was Ivan Gridello, trying to go around the outside here in turn 2. Can he make it stick? Can he brake late around the outside here? Miguel gives him a little bit of room on the outside and has a spin, a bit of a slide, and that will give Ivan Gridello the position. Yes, indeed. So P6 for Ivan. And a couple of laps later, Frank Cosi and Simon Finningham were right on the tail of Miguel Santiago Carao as well. Going through the S's, a very scary moment for both drivers in front. Frank Cosi sliding, but he will recover. And Miguel Santiago Carao will slow down to wait for his victim, although it was a very innocent tap. But then, looking back from Robert Horvat, he's in 3rd position, being followed by Peter Backus and Lorenzo Tortella. Hard braking here, and oh, Peter makes a mistake. Will he lose a position to Lorenzo? I think he will. Yes, this is the long section just in front of the S's. Almost side by side, but it's Lorenzo Tortella having the advantage, so he's up to P4. Then Florian Kutz was following his teammate very closely, ready to pounce on any mistake, so he's not giving it away to him. Then drama struck at the exit of the last turn, hitting the tire barriers there, spinning it. Luckily the others could avoid his spinning car, and Florian could start his car again, but now he's down to 5th position. So that gives Lorenzo Tortella third position, and then following Robert Horvat, bit wide there onto the grass, and gifting Lorenzo Tortella second position, but I don't think Robert Horvat will give up that easily. But Lorenzo was showing very good pace here, and Frank Cosi, he got right on the back of Simon Fillingham. That must be, no, sorry, it's Greg Metcalf, and after some battling for some laps, he could make the pass. Also Miguel Santiago Carao, he ended up behind Frank after their small collision here in these S's. Miguel very tidy through the S's, and that's Martin Brandon as a lapped car just in front. Can Miguel brake late and keep that position? Yes, he can. So Greg Metcalf down to 10th position at the moment. He's running a bit slower pace than the rest of the field, and 9th spot goes to Miguel Santiago Carao, and then Martin Brandon giving the guys here some space, giving Greg a run for his money down the front straight. But Florian Kutz then down to 5th after his small incident. He was hunting down Peter Backus to get back onto that podium, and a bit of a hesitation from Peter meant that Florian could get side by side with him. Not a lot of speed gained at the end of the straight. Peter even pulling out a little bit, running a bit less wing it seems, but both going very, very wide, and Florian Kutz taking 4th position from Peter Backus. So on lap 15, this is the status. Jona Karima in front of Lorenzo Tortella. The gap is not very big. Robert Horvat could not keep up with Lorenzo, he's just a tiny bit behind. And then in 4th position, as we saw, Florian Kutz, followed very closely by Peter Backus. Ivan Gridello took the advantage in that battle with Frank Cosi, Miguel Santiago Carao and Simon Fillingham. So it's Ivan from Simon at the moment. Frank Cosi is right on the back of Simon, with Miguel Santiago Carao in 9th, followed by Greg Metcalf, as we saw just now. Then Maino Liguori in 11th position, followed by his countryman Sando Donadel. Then Martin Brandon and David Nesbitt in last position for the moment. So as we saw already, Frank Cosi getting very close to Simon Fillingham, having a bit more pace than the Blibbenhell Racing driver. Oh, a big slide there from Simon. Can he recover? Yes, he can, but he's not fast enough. That gives Frank Cosi 7th position. Can Simon get back at him? Can he have a better run through the S's? Bit of a conservative line, but Frank Cosi will be able to defend for that position then. And then it was Miguel Santiago Carao getting onto the back of Greg Metcalf. Trying to go around the outside in the final section of the track, which will not work. But getting a good run out of the final turn. Greg going very wide there. Can Miguel make the move stick and start hunting for Simon and Frank and Ivan in front? Miguel is still behind, but he brakes late. Greg leaves the door open, and that's Miguel going through for P9 once again. Lorenzo Tortella got very, very close to Jona Karima. Seems he had a slight pace advantage, although he's carrying some weight in his car, 40 kilos if I'm not mistaken. So good pace shown here by Lorenzo Tortella, and just before the pit stops, middle of the race, having a look, but Jona keeping it tidy and defending. So Lorenzo will have to stay behind for a while. And then came the pit stops, and some interesting choices were made there. Miguel Santiago Carao and Florian Kutz did not take front tires, which would gain them about 15 seconds in the pit. And Greg Metcalf, he was running slightly slower, but he was trying to preserve his tires, as he will just go on and not pit for this race. So just having some fuel saving and tire saving to get to the end. So let's see what is the consequence of that. Florian Kutz in third position. He was in fourth, but due to not taking front tires, he will get out in front of Lorenzo Tortella up into second position, and he will also jump Robert Horvat for third position. So let's see if Lorenzo can get close to Florian. Of course, Florian will want to keep Lorenzo behind as long as he can. Oh, a late lunge there. Side by side, a bit of bumping, but Lorenzo will have to try again. Florian wants to keep him behind as long as possible to secure his teammates' first position in the race. Joona Karima a bit further up the road also took tires, but Florian, good strategy, getting himself in front of Lorenzo, but now having a bit less grip through the S's, and Lorenzo attempted the other way around from last lap and gets the pass done. So up into P2. Now let's see if he can make it close to Joona Karima. On lap 40 of this race then, Joona is still in first position, followed by Lorenzo Tortella. He's 10 to 15 seconds behind. Then Florian Kutz in third position with a very quick Robert Horvat behind him, setting personal bests here in the second stint. Then Peter Backus in fifth position, followed by Greg Metcalf. As I said, he didn't pit, so he will be struggling with the tires and saving some fuel. He's followed by Ivan Gridello and Miguel Santiago Carao. Miguel jumped Simon Fillingham in the pits. He was behind him before, and then Sandro Donadel in 10th position, with Martin Brandon and David Nesbitt on his heels. Unfortunately, Mario Liguori and Frank Cosi did not make it to the end of this race. So the final stages of the race, and Ivan Gridello being hunted down by Miguel Santiago Carao. A big lockup and a spin, which left Miguel Santiago Carao past, and Greg Metcalf, as we said, he's on very, very worn tires, around 80 minutes into the race, trying to defend from Miguel Santiago Carao, but he has to get going here onto Main Straight to keep that advantage. Miguel is right on his gearbox. Will he be able to defend that inside line and keep the position a bit longer? He will have to keep it for another 10 minutes in this race. Can Miguel go around the outside? He keeps it there, a bit of a bump there from Greg, but Miguel has to slot in behind for now. So good defensive driving by Greg Metcalf there. Oh, and on the next turn it goes a bit too deep, going wide, and that gives Miguel that 6th position he was hunting for. So different strategies playing out differently for all of these drivers. Ivan Gridello also had better pace in the second stint than Greg on his worn tires, and on the second to last lap, Ivan tries to go around the outside here of that slow right-hander, and he will be able to make the move with some paint trading, but fair driving there. So Greg gambling with the strategy and, well, losing out in the end, but it was a good option. Joona Karima was not threatened in the second stint. He will win this endurance round at NOLA Motorsport Park with a good team finish. He's in first, followed by Lorenzo Tortella, who fought back from 5th position after this first lap, and his teammate of Joona, will finish in 3rd position, followed by Robert Horvat, who was very quick but could not close the gap down fast enough. Then it was Peter Backus, Miguel Santiago Carao in 6th, followed by Ivan Gridello, and then Greg Metcalf on his worn tires. His teammate Simon Fillingham right behind as well. Sandro Donadel also finishing this round with Martin Brandon behind, and David Nesbitt, Milo Liguori and Frank Cosi in last position. So here are the final standings. As we said, Jona Karima from Lorenzo Tortella and Florian Kutz. Good racing here, different strategies playing out over the course of this 90-minute race, so that will be very interesting to see in the final round of the championship, which will also be an endurance round at Mid-Ohio in the night, so stay tuned for that. But now we have a week off, and in 2 weeks time we are going to Dijon-Prenois. Very fast and flowing circuit. Will be very fun with these cars. A long straight, so lots of passing opportunities and side-by-side action. If you want to watch that, make sure to subscribe to our channel here. Join us on our website, unitedracersleague.com, or follow us on Facebook. And if you want to come race with us, just sign up on the forum. There are still spots available to race with us for the coming 3 rounds of the championship. So see you in 2 weeks for the Dijon race in the sprint series.